Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Two Player Podcast with Matt Likes Games and Ham Solo. Enjoy the show.
Hey, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Two Player Podcast with myself, Matt Likes Games, my buddy Ham Solo. Ham, you just released a brand new video over on the SWS Gaming. Let them know. Let them know about it. Let them know what you're up to, how you're doing, and all that stuff.
Sure. So I'm not sure if everyone's going to be a fan of what my video is, but I don't care. It's the truth. It's the reality of it. And my video is called "Why is PlayStation Anti-Consumer Outside of Predominantly White Countries?"
It's a good question.
And we're still like even after you watch the video, you'll still wonder why. But you'll see some of the things that just stink about PlayStation outside of predominantly white countries. And it doesn't just go for black folks. It is for pretty much anybody that has like a shade of brown. And they don't live in the United States or a popular part of Asia or a popular part of the EU, South America. Just it's really sad. Like if you look up and see how many different countries are not supported by Sony, and the wild things that you have to do just to get a game that you want to play from them, whether it's to play on your PC or on your actual console itself.
Yeah,
But I've been playing Suicide Squad. That's it.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, I played a little bit of that with you. We played like, I don't know, 3 nights in a row that we haven't played the last few nights because honestly, I've just been in the mood. I've been in the mood for just turning off my brain and playing Fallout and not really following a story. The past couple, especially because I mean, what me and you've been talking about off the show, which we're not.
If you start moving people,
oh my god, my bad. That was to the video, but especially considering the fact that like what me and you've been talking about the past few nights, like we've both been like heavy watching true crime, and my whole thing is I'll watch that and then I'll turn on like Fallout, something I don't got to pay too much attention to, that I can just listen to whatever YouTube video I'm watching, and that's what I do. That's what I've been doing the past couple of nights. But yeah, we definitely need to get back on Suicide Squad. Outside of that, you can see here on the screen, played a little bit of Doom 2016. Getting excited for the show and everything. Let's see what else. I'm trying to think. Call of Duty, X Defiant. Man, bunch of shooters, whole bunch of shooters. Call of Duty, X Defiant, Doom, and Suicide Squad, pretty much. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Let me turn my mic up here. Is that louder?
I mean, you sound fine for me.
All right. Well, as long as it's all good. But yeah, getting into the topic today, which is our predictions, our hopes and predictions for the Xbox showcase. I'm gonna start. We're actually gonna start with the Xbox Game Studios, and we'll just go down the list of studios here. You give your hope for the studio, and then you give your realistic prediction, or what you would consider a realistic prediction for that studio at this showcase. So, first up is 343 Industries. Do you have any hopes for any personal hopes for 343, and then also any realistic expectations for 343 at this showcase?
I guess my only expectation is just to see what they kind of are thinking about, or maybe like I've been hearing a lot about Battle Royale, so I'm expecting to see that, but that doesn't excite me.
Same.
Um,
Same here.
what I'd like to see from them is the idea of more campaign stuff coming,
Yeah.
because
I,
I really enjoyed the Halo Infinite campaign. I felt like or I feel like it deserves much more.
mhm.
And I think they can do it. They just, unfortunately, these companies are just pretty much revolving around what they can find monetarily about something, instead of like what's good. They don't really understand that the money will come if you make something good.
Yeah.
They're more or less just trying to make the money come, and it's a little frustrating.
Definitely. And question, as for the whole campaign aspect, because honestly, I think both of our hopes would be to see something campaign related. Um, I don't expect that, but let's say they did show something campaign related. Would you want it to be something new? Would you want it to be a continuation of Halo Infinite? Would you want it to be DLC, or would you want it to be a whole new game? Like and what do you think it would be if they were to show something there?
So, like I said, if they were to show something, I think it's going to be Battle Royale.
Okay, but like if they were to show campaign, like what you want, which is the campaign.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
What do
saying.
you think they would show? Was it for a whole new game? Is it for Halo Infinite DLC? What do you
I'd
think it
expect
is?
Halo Infinite DLC, because they kind of left you wondering at the end of
Yes.
the story in Halo. So I don't see why you would just act like that, you know, either act like it never happened, or like put it on like such a like to me it's already been shelved long enough for you to
Yeah.
come back and continue that out, because uh the more you talk about it and bring it up, and have it around for, I mean, what you don't want to do is go into like halfway into the next console generation, and then finally continue the story. I think that wouldn't make any sense. So
Yes.
like continue the rest of the story, get whatever you want from that, and then move on to a new story if you want to. But tie in the loose ends for this one.
Mhm. And then I wanna bring up something that Boogeyman says in the chat here. Something he said he saw something about a shadow drop of something earlier, and I want you to keep that in mind as we go throughout the show, because I want you, once we get to a studio where you think that they would have a shadow drop, let me know, and then I'll let you know who I think's going to shadow drop something. And first of all, but before we do that, do you think there will be a shadow drop this year?
I wouldn't be surprised. I just don't know if it's going to be like a level of Hi-Fi Rush kind of shadow drop. I think it could possibly be, I mean, outside of like the back catalog of games, because I think that kind of goes without much thought, or at
Mhm.
least, I mean, I'm kind of expecting it to. Um, I'd see like maybe a third party shadow drop of some sort. Like I'm not sure if they're like I don't know. Microsoft's weird. But
Yeah,
after the last shadow drop, a lot of people looked at like yo, you just got rid of that company after shadow dropping. So
yeah.
so it's like, do you really want to shadow drop your own squad again? Or is it like I personally think it's too soon.
That's I because I thought about that when I saw the rumors. I was like, you guys really sure you want to shadow drop something again? Because like one of the whole things on like Hi-Fi Rush was like, oh, it's so fucking awesome that they shadow dropped it. But then realistically, it probably didn't help that game's success that you shadow dropped it. It probably hurt it quite a bit. So it's like, is that something you want to do again? And
I
then
would say it's okay if it's not a brand new IP. If it's a continuation from an IP where there's already some like excitement around it, and people are like, "Oh, there's a sequel." then it makes
Mhm.
sense. But like a brand new IP where you don't like you look at the character and you're like, what the hell is this? Like I think that's a little harder.
You know what? We're just gonna get into this because now that you said that, I think it is a new IP, and I'll tell you what I think it is too. I think it's Towerborn,
Yeah, but see, that's not a first party studio
first
game.
party, exactly. But so that's then that kind of is sort of a question where it's like, does that matter? I mean, not like does it matter? It sounds messed up, but like that doesn't like really affect or have the effect the way that it would if it was a first party game, whether that effect be negative or positive. So do you think could you see that game being the game? And if not, what game do you think it is? We might as well do this now, honestly.
I actually thought it was Towerborn as well, so that's funny that you brought that up. Just
Nice.
because of the type of game it is, it like asks for a lot of people to play at once. It's multiplayer. It just has that kind of pick up and put down and then pick up again kind of playability. So
Yeah.
I totally think that makes sense to Shadow Drop compared to a game that revolves around a story and needs you to pay attention. And then as well comes with mechanics that aren't really exactly that aren't really exactly for everybody. Like I feel like one of the issues with Hi-Fi Rush is, I mean, maybe it's not an issue for me or you, but like one of the issues in my opinion for like a wide array of people is the fact that it was the fact that it was rhythm based.
Yeah.
And a rhythm based game, when you just want to get in and play something, it takes some mood to be in to play.
Yes.
Compared to like a Doom game where you just get in and just kill. Or like a Halo game, same thing. You just get in there, kill. Towerborn, what are you going to do? You're going to get in there and kill. And you're doing it with a bunch of other people that want to just do the same goddamn thing. And and we already know, especially from something like Helldivers, that is really nice to just hop into a game, get to killing with your buddies and whatnot, have a good time, and then before you know it, it's 4 a.m. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for Hi-Fi Rush, it's just like you do a part and you're like, do I want to continue this tomorrow? Or like, you know, it's because it's a story. It's a whole different vibe.
Yeah. I get that. And I think that makes the most sense. I guess technically it could be anything. They could shadow drop anything they want, really. But like, I just wonder if they got to be thinking, hey, is it worth shadow dropping a first party game again, especially after what just happened? And I feel like, listen, I'll be very surprised if they can't read the room in that respect. I'd be pretty shocked if they shadow drop a first party game, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think it'll be Towerborn. Boogeyman says a remake or remaster of Elder Scrolls or Fallout caliber would kill, though. That's something we will definitely, or at least I'll definitely be talking about. I'll tell you that much later in the show. But the studio that's up next, and I got to be honest, I don't have any expectations or hopes for this studio because, quite frankly, they don't make my kind of games. But World's Edge, do you expect to see anything from like the Age of Empires studio at this show? Do you have any hopes for the Age of Empires studio?
I mean, no, I don't have any hopes for them. That's not my genre of game.
Same here.
I don't hate those kind of games. I just don't. I like. It's just too much for me. Like, and this is coming from somebody that really loves Ark Survival Evolved. So I understand the amount of time and like stuff that it takes, and you know, kind of forgetting the genre of those games.
RTS.
Yeah, thank you. RTS, real time strategy. Yeah, I've never really been big into real time strategy. I've had fun many of times on real time strategy. It's just like after the initial time of having fun with it, I kind of am done. Like,
Yeah.
especially since a lot of them that I've ever played are just like single player. That's a lot of time to spend in something all by yourself. Like, I don't know. And that's
Yeah.
probably why I got so big into Ark, is because I was able to play with a ton of other people at once. And like even on the low moments, I mean, we were just bullshitting and having a good time between us. So, I mean, in a RTS like Age of Empire, like there's not a whole lot of bullshitting you do in those games.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah, I've never been into the whole RTS thing. I've tried it maybe like a long time ago on like a really old computer. I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. Maybe I would like it now, but it's not one of those things. I'm probably not going to find out anytime soon. So it's like no disrespect to the studio. The people who like those games fucking love those games. But it's just I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them, unfortunately.
One thing I wanted to bring up before we continue forward, this showcase is supposed to be like 2 hours
Big showcase.
with like supposedly like 30 games or something like that, which is pretty nuts. And they talked about, releasing hardware or releasing like some specifications about their hardware, which is also wild, because I didn't expect them to do anything like that until like maybe the Game Awards. And I still think even if they do show stuff here, that they have to advertise their hardware at the Game Awards, in my opinion, because the Xbox showcase is nice, but it's for Xbox fans.
Yes.
Right? As for the Game Awards, is just for gamers.
100%. I 100% agree with that. I like it was smart what they did with the Series X. I feel like they'll probably do the exact same thing. Honestly, it's like here they'll give us a tease here, and then at the game, because I'm pretty sure they gave us a tease of the Series X before the Game Awards, right? They did it like the E3 before that or whatever.
Yes.
And then at the Game Awards, they're like, okay, here's the console, here's what it looks like, and then right after that, they showed Hellblade. Here's what the thing is running on the console. I feel like they'll probably do something very similar to that this year for the showcase and then also the Game Awards. Stanley Francois, what's going on? Appreciate you stopping by. Let's see what's up next here. I mean, God, okay. This one I know I've got some hopes and expectations for, and that is the Coalition. What are your thoughts? What are your hopes and expectations for the Coalition this year at Xbox's showcase?
Year 6. I mean, what else?
Yeah. Do you think there's a Gears collection? People keep talking about it, and we've been talking about it for years, but we've never heard a single thing really. So do you think that even exists? And if so, do you think it's at the showcase?
Hey, you know what? If they shadow drop that is something.
That would be nuts.
And that would be something that I could see being shadow dropped and it not being an issue. It just not be. It ain't gonna be a Hi-Fi Rush issue.
Yeah,
like it's
either
gonna be selling a lot, or if it doesn't sell a lot, it's gonna be played a lot by a lot of different people on Xbox and Game Pass. And I tell you, please shut my door, please. Sorry about that. I don't remember what I was saying. I don't remember the last thing I said.
That's gonna be played a lot by people on Xbox.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be played by a lot of people in Game Pass, and then with, this is weird that I'm bringing this up because this has nothing to do with Gears, and we're talking about the Coalition. But the fact that they're bringing Call of Duty over only makes the rest of Xbox's catalog that much interesting.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that too, because I got thoughts on that.
Yeah, because whether you get Game Pass or not, you're gonna see that all of these games that I'm buying at 60, 70, 50, $40, I could just not do that and just get Game Pass, right? And man, that's gonna really, have people thinking, especially a lot of people that didn't think Game Pass was really worth it beforehand. Now seeing that, hey, I can have my everyday game and still play all these different type of stories and and be paying throughout the year as much as it costs to buy 3 games before tax. Like
Yeah,
that's a pretty big W, man.
it
And,
is.
and and especially for like people like me and you that like to buy other games as well. And it's not that we don't want to buy Xbox games, because we do. It's just not every
Sure.
single one do we want to get day one.
Exactly.
Right. And it gives us the opportunity to be able to play it, have a good time with it, see if it's for us or not. And then maybe possibly buy it later when it's on sale. And plus you get the Game Pass discount for buying those games and stuff like that. And we're already paying the subscription every month. So regardless, they're getting they're getting theirs. And if I want to purchase it for whatever reason, I could still do that. And I just think that's
Yeah.
nice. It's really nice. I mean, it's no different than and I hate that people say, "Oh, you support the game, support the IP and stuff like that." And it's like, man, how many TV show box sets did you buy? Like, or did you buy, or did you watch it on did you watch it on CBS, or did you watch it on on Netflix and whatnot? And then they came out with a new season, and you were saying, "Oh, I can't wait to watch that." Well, you supported it no different than I'm doing for Game Pass right now.
Yeah.
And that's your favorite TV show.
100%.
Everyone wants to hop on HBO when The Last of Us comes out, but nobody wants to talk about that it's on a subscription service, and that's what you're paying to watch it. You're not paying full price for the TV show. You're not doing that. No one's doing that.
Yeah, nobody's doing that really. It's like maybe a couple hundred people in the world.
Well,
Probably a little bit more than that. But like it's
yeah,
just
I mean,
it's
it's
just
in the thousands, but we're talking
yeah,
about millions of viewers.
exactly. And billions of people. So it's like it's a drop in the bucket. But I'm glad you brought up the whole the fact, especially because we're talking about Gears here. You brought up the fact that this is going to be in a show with Call of Duty, and I think this can be a really big play. And I'm kind of upset I didn't mention this with the whole 343 thing. This could be a really big play because Microsoft at one point Microsoft did have the rights to Call of Duty. I mean, not like they didn't own it, but like they had the marketing rights to Call of Duty back on the 360, early Xbox One, early Xbox One. They had it too. But like everyone's super nostalgic, especially nowadays for the 360, myself included, where I feel like a lot of people are going to be like, hey, I'll tune into the Xbox show. I don't really give a shit about Xbox, but I do want to see the new Call of Duty. And then they'll be like, oh, wait, Gears? I remember playing Gears on the 360. And I'm glad like I said, I'm a little upset I didn't think about this for Halo for 343 and Halo, but it's like have something, anything for Halo. Anything at all. But just so people can be like, oh, Gears and Halo, I used to love those games when I had an Xbox. And now they're bringing back for Gears the entire franchise via a Gears collection. Plus, there's a whole new one coming out in a couple of years. Maybe Xbox is worth a bit more of my time than I thought. Maybe I should get into this. I feel like that's kind of a now that you have Call of Duty, I feel like they have the potential to get a lot of people back onto their system or back into their system, however you want to say, just off of the nostalgia of like growing up with Call of Duty. Like a lot of people had 360s. 360s was the thing to have back in the day. Like PS3 did really well and everything, but over here in America, 360 was the fucking thing to have. And everyone had one. And everybody played Halo 3. everybody played Call of Duty 4, everybody played Gears of War, everybody played all that shit. And I feel like if you had a show with all those things there, it would be a pretty huge hit of nostalgia for a lot of people. And that would definitely help your brand a little bit, because nostalgia sells more than many, many things. Nostalgia sells. So that would be pretty awesome to see. Also, just selfishly, forget the whole vantage point of it from Xbox's point of view, but like just selfishly, it would be pretty cool to be able to boot up a single application that has all of the Gears of War games in it. That would be pretty awesome. Plus, that would revitalize the multiplayer, which I played a decent amount of back in the day, but I don't really play the multiplayer anymore, especially on the older games because it's kind of dead. So, revitalize the multiplayer, get new players into the series, get new players ready for Gears 6, have them playing through the whole thing, signing up to Game Pass to play them, buying the games outright. Like, it's just a smart move. Just a smart move. And that's a long way of saying, I would hope, I don't know if they do, but I would hope that there's a Gears collection. And if there is a Gears collection, I would certainly hope that it's at this showcase of all showcases. So we'll see. But let's see what's coming up next. Oh, interested in this one. Compulsion Games. I mean, I think my hope and expectation are one and the same, but I'm going to ask you first. What are your hopes and expectations for Compulsion Games at this year's showcase?
I think South of Midnight pretty much
Yeah.
is what that is. I don't really expect too much from them other than South of Midnight. And I mean, I'm just gonna kind of leave it there because I
Do
don't
you
really know what I'm
expect a
talking about
release
with
date?
Compulsion. Oh, with the release date,
Or
that
a window, a year?
yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like a release date for that game might be something that's in the developer direct next year.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it's still a little bit too early for a firm date. I think they might give us 2025. They might give us like, hey, it's coming out 2025 or whatever. And I feel like if they don't give us 2025, then it's not coming out 2025. But we'll see. But yeah, my hopes and expectations pretty much in line on this. I just want to see South of Midnight. It's really all I want to see, and I expect to see it. Up next is Double Fine. I don't really have any expectations for this. I still think it might be a little bit too early to show what they're working on. But I hope to see whatever it is that's new that they're working on. But what do you think? Do you have any hopes, expectations for Double Fine?
Nope.
No,
I don't. I
That's
don't
fair.
have anything. I mean, then again, they're talking about showing off a lot of games, or they're talking about showing off a lot of things that haven't really been announced yet. So it's very possible, but I'm just not gonna. I'm not just gonna assume that they're gonna show us something. Like, I don't know. It's just something I have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's honestly a fair way to look at it. Now, this one, I sure as hell have expectations, and I sure as hell have hopes. The Initiative. The Initiative is such a funny studio because I'll tell you what, they've existed for what, 4 years, and they've been through a lifetime of shit over there at the Initiative. But what are your thoughts? I mean, do you think it's fair to say, or do you expect Perfect Dark there? Do you expect any sort of date, any sort of time frame, any sort of anything? Do you expect to see it? What do you hope to see? Let me know about the Initiative.
The Initiative, obviously, I think is another simple one. That's Perfect Dark, right? I almost feel like they have to show something.
I agree with that.
Like, whether it's great or not, like they kind of have to. And they've been put in a position, or they put themselves into a position where it's like, like, it's been a long time since you spoke or said anything. What's going on here? Are you guys okay?
Yeah.
You guys still actually a studio over there, or is it just Crystal Dynamics and you guys just threw the label on there? I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like for the way that they hyped up that studio when they first put it together, they have to show something now. They just do.
Yes. I think that's fair. I think most things, honestly, realistically, I think all the things from that now infamous showcase where I think it was right before the Series X released to get people really hyped for the Series X. They announced Fable, they announced Perfect Dark, they announced Everwild. I think Everwild was even before that, honestly. But like they had all those games. I think those games should be at this showcase. I think Perfect Dark needs to be. I honestly don't expect. We'll get to it later. I'm not going to say it, but yeah, I'm here with you. The initiative, Perfect Dark. I'm really excited for Perfect Dark. I have one fear for Perfect Dark. Um, I don't have any fear that the game's going to be bad. I think it'll be I think it'll be a really good game, especially now they got Crystal Dynamics involved. Crystal Dynamics is one of my favorite studios. Also, the lead guy at the initiative is the dude who was the lead guy on Tomb Raider 2013, one of my favorite games of all time. So I got a lot of confidence in them. The thing that worries me with that, and me and Mike talked about it a little bit in the party the other night, is I want to know, is there a multiplayer? I feel like for a game like Perfect Dark, you kind of need a multiplayer, especially because Perfect Dark, the first one, was built on its multiplayer. Like that was what was so iconic about it. And I just get this feeling that this will be a very much story focused game, which I don't have a problem with that. But I feel like it'll be so story focused that they will not even bother putting a multiplayer in there, which would upset me. Would certainly upset me. But what do you? First of all, what do you think about that? Do you think this game has a multiplayer? Do you think it's purely single player focused?
Um, I'd really hope it has a multiplayer. I would
Same.
really hope so, but I'm more leaning on the single player part. Which would
Yeah.
stink.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. It'd be a bummer if there was no multiplayer. Just I feel like it'd be such an easy win because it's like Perfect Dark. People will play multiplayer Perfect Dark just for nostalgia purposes, just for the name Perfect Dark. People will play that. Let alone if you actually make it good and fun. Uh, it could do numbers. It could do numbers if they did it. I'm just kind of afraid they didn't do it. But we'll see. Not much longer to find out. Hopefully. Up next is In Exile. Hopes and expectations for In Exile.
Clockwork Revolution. I feel like that one's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I'm really hoping to see from them because I'm not a big fan of Wasteland.
Yeah.
It's just not my type of game.
Same.
But that Clockwork Revolution looked hot. So I definitely want to see what that's all about. And I want to hear it from them, like if possible, because they seem like a fun group of guys and gals or whatever.
Yeah, like their Twitter account is probably the best game developer, at least from a AAA developer. Probably the best game developer Twitter account you could follow. They're posting hilarious shit all the time. Sometimes completely out of pocket shit, quite frankly, but it's fun. It's fun time over there. But yeah, I'm there with you. Clockwork Revolution. I will say Clockwork Revolution probably. I'm trying to think. Avowed's my most anticipated game from Xbox Game Studios. Uh, and then I think it would be Clockwork Revolution would be second. So if I would be ecstatic to see this. Now the question is, much like the rest of the games we mentioned, do you think we get a date? Do you think we get a release window for Clockwork Revolution here at the showcase?
I think so.
Nice.
I personally think so. Like
I hope so,
I
man.
feel like I'm getting uncomfortable right now because it's just like I'm putting a lot of hopes out there
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of expectations out there, but I really don't freaking know.
Same. It'll be interesting to see. I think we'll get a release window for Clockwork. And I think it'll be one of those things. Here's the release window. We'll tell you vaguely it's coming 2025. And if it is coming 2025, I think, like you mentioned with South of Midnight, we'll probably see the date at next year's Developer Direct, which I think is probably the move they'll stick to. The formula they'll stick to going forward. Up next, no disrespect, I don't care about this studio. I'm almost positive you don't, but we got to mention it because they make the biggest fucking game in the world. Mojang, do you have any expectations?
No.
Same.
Skip.
Same here. Same here, honestly. Up next, and this one's probably another skip because it's Ninja Theory and they just did their shit. They just released their game. So do you have any expectations, any hopes for Ninja Theory at this showcase?
Ninja Theory. No, they just came out with their game. Yeah. I'm not really anticipating. I mean, if they want to talk about Project Mara, fuck, go ahead. I'm wondering what the hell that is.
Yeah, but I don't know what that game's supposed to be.
But as for Ninja Theory, it's like you guys just came out with a game. I don't feel like you need to be here. Like unless you're unless you are surely ready to show something, which I don't think they are.
I 100% agree with that. Up next is Obsidian. I mean, I think it's fair to assume Avowed is both your hope and expectation. It will be the same for me. But what are your thoughts on Obsidian? Do you expect to see? Because I kind of expect to see. I don't know if I expect it. I hope to see Outer Worlds 2. I expect to see Avowed for sure. That makes perfect sense. But I hope to see Outer Worlds 2. Do you think there's any hope we see Outer Worlds 2 at this showcase?
Outer Worlds 2. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. They skipped last year showing it.
Let's fucking go.
So I could totally see it being here and see, like, I feel like they would maybe show in this might piss some people off. I feel like they might show off Avowed and be like, yeah, that's coming soon, and here's a release date that's coming to Xbox. And then they're gonna be like, coming everywhere soon is Outer Worlds 2, and that's coming to Xbox, PlayStation, and PC.
Yeah.
I could see them doing that. Just kind of to give you some excitement, give you some first party excitement, and then hit you with that kind of like, this is coming everywhere.
Yeah. I 1,000% agree with that. I think Outer Worlds, whenever that does release, I think it goes day and date to everything. Or at least everything that can run it. But I think that will be a third party game. Not a third party, but a first party game that goes everywhere. Be a better way to say that. Up next, Playground Games. Do you expect to see more Fable this year?
Fable?
Yes, from Playground.
Yeah. I mean, I hate this right now. I hate this. Because like I'm just like I feel like I'm putting myself in a bad place, kind of.
I'm there with you, buddy. I'm right there in the bad place, bud. Uh, do you think we see anything about Forza? Because keep in mind, they usually release, or they used to release, on a 2-year cadence. The last one was a 3-year cadence. Do you think we see Forza Horizon 6 at all at this showcase?
No.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that 100%.
I think they're all set on car games, especially after just releasing one last year and having that at their showcase.
Yeah. Stanley Francois says at least more gameplay from Fable. I agree. Like, they showed very, very small snippets of what looked like gameplay from their I guess not their first trailer, but their second trailer. I want to see more gameplay of Fable. I think that's a fair thing to ask for. I think the only way we don't see more gameplay from Fable is if they do this whole thing where, hey, we're not going to show Fable here because we already showed it, but we'll show it at next year's Developer Direct. I feel like that's the only way we don't see Fable at this show. But even then, I still think you should show a trailer just to remind people, hey, it exists, it's still coming, kind of thing. Up next, and mentioned briefly their game a couple minutes ago, Rare. Do you have any expectations or hopes for Rare from this showcase?
Yeah, I do. I'd really like to see Everwild.
Oh, yeah.
I'd really like to see what that game is.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I think they showed that off once in 2019, and we've never seen it again. So it's been a long time, and since then they've apparently gone through reboots of the game. From what the rumors are, I think relatively recently, is that it's a co-op focused game. I don't know what the gameplay loop is. I don't know what kind of game it is. All the rumors are is that it's co-op. So, I mean, sounds like it could be cool. Depends on what the gameplay is, though. But I agree with you. I fully expect. I think it's fair to expect something from Everwild. I'll say this though: wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't there. I really wouldn't be surprised at all if that wasn't there. Stanley Francois says, "What about that Ninja Turtles Ronin game? What's that? Do you know about this, Sam?
No.
The Ninja Turtles Ronin game. Drop some more details on that in the chat there, Stanley, because I'm interested. Turn 10, I don't expect to see nothing from them. I'm assuming you don't either.
Yeah, I don't know.
Same. All right. And then the final Xbox game studio is Undead Labs. I'll tell you what I expect personally, and I think everybody expects it. State of Decay 3. I think it's fair to expect to see State of Decay 3 at the showcase. It's been a long time. I'm interested to see what it is. I know the rumors are they're adding more story elements and everything. Hopefully that goes over well with the crowd that's already there. Hopefully it draws in more players. I'll definitely be checking it out when it comes out. But what about you, Ham? Do you have any expectations, hopes for Undead Labs? Do you think we see State of Decay 3 this year?
I mean, it should. That's another one of those,
Yeah,
where it's like it should.
I agree. I 100% agree. It should definitely be there.
It's just like, dude, like that. It's been since the beginning of the generation for that and Perfect Dark. You guys, come on.
Yeah, I think Perfect Dark and State of Decay kind of need to be there. I think that's fair. But that was the final bit of the Xbox Game Studios. Now we're on to Bethesda, and then we'll finish it with Activision Blizzard. But no, buddy, we're gonna get through this. Bethesda Game Studios. Do you have any hopes, expectations for Bethesda Game Studios? You think we see gameplay for Elder Scrolls? We're not going to see that.
No.
But what about the Starfield DLC? What are your thoughts?
There's definitely 100% going to be talk about the Starfield DLC. They're probably going to show off driving in Starfield.
I
I
hope
would
so.
not be surprised if they did that. And if they did that, it'd be like one of those moments where I need a Kleenex. And it's not for anything nasty, you sick bastards. It's to wipe the tear out of my eye of being so excited and proud and happy because Bethesda does not do vehicles in games. Like the only other game I can think of that does vehicles at all that has Bethesda's name on it is Rage.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. The vehicle in that game, it's kind of Mad Maxy feeling.
Very, yes.
Which is not the best, but it's not the worst either.
Mm-hmm.
So if they could continue with that, I mean, in fact, here's another game that I'd compare the driving to: Borderlands.
Oh yeah, the driving in Borderlands.
Driving in Borderlands is kind of it's okay.
It's serviceable.
It's good for it's serviceable. That's a great way to put it. But it's unnecessary for me. In Starfield, it's very necessary. It's very.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just feel kind of like that's like my one knock of Starfield is I just feel so like unprepared or ridiculous using my jetpack everywhere. Like it's just like it just it's fine that it's a main tool, but it feels like it's like the only tool when it comes to traversal at all. And that's my one like big time gripe with Starfield. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot of gripes for Starfield.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's one other gripe I have. But it's a little different. I just wish that they had more of a understanding and focus around like the religions and stuff within Starfield. So if you're like, if you follow Varun and whatnot, and then you end up getting with what's her name? What's that girl's name? That's part of House Varun.
Oh, I can't remember her name. Andreja.
Okay, yeah. I didn't think I had the name correct. Yeah, Andreja. So I think it's weird because I had the trait for being part of Varun, right? Because I wanted my character to be like somewhat kind of an evil asshole, and she didn't recognize that I was part of Varun, and it kind of pissed me off a little bit in the game.
Oh,
because she's like, you don't know what it's like, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, I do. I'm literally part of the same, and like one of the options is like something like love you no matter what. We either we're on the same in like the same religion or not, and I'm like, dude, this shouldn't even be a choice. Like we're in the same religion. Like, why isn't this understood? Like it like that part right there, that of the whole story, that's the part of the story that pissed me off. Everything else was like the best story Bethesda's ever told, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Or the best story that I could keep up with that Bethesda's ever told. How about that?
I'll tell you, I mean, for me, like, I don't know. I didn't play Morrowind. I've tried playing Morrowind. It's just too old to play now. But outside of that and the earlier Elder Scrolls before that,
I heard Oblivion has an amazing story.
Oblivion story is really, really good. I even thought Skyrim's story is really good. People underrate Skyrim's story. Fallout 3 has a really good story. New Vegas story of what I played of it, which is a good amount of it, is pretty damn good. But again, that's also Obsidian. But like Starfield has Fallout 4 story, I think is underrated, but Starfield story is just flat out fucking good. Like it's just good, period.
It's easy to understand.
Exactly. It's not like Starfield story isn't like I feel like with Bethesda stories, oh, this story's underrated. Starfield story, like I don't think that's a fucking good story. Just point blank, period. I think that's a good story. Also, there's some really fucking cool missions that tie into that story, like the going back and forth between like two different like realities and shit. Like, oh Jesus, there's some really cool shit in that game. If you haven't played it, you should definitely do yourself a favor, check it out. But Stanley Francois drops in the chat. He said, "My bad. I thought you guys do." I was talking about The Last Ronin. It's a Ninja Turtles game that was teased last year, I think. Developers are Black Forest, it says. I'm gonna look that up. Look that up real quick. Last Ronin Ninja Turtles game. Because I don't remember this at all. Oh, this was teased at PlayStation show. I don't think it'll be here. I don't think it'll be here at this. I think we could see it maybe at Summer Games Fest or something, but I don't think it'll be at the Xbox show. If it was first revealed at PlayStation show, I don't think we'll see it at Xbox's show. But yeah, it looks interesting. From the little bit I'm seeing of it here, it is a pretty small teaser. So
Hey, check
yeah.
this out.
What's that?
I'm just gonna share my screen and show you real quick.
Go for
I
it.
just made the thumbnail to that video that I posted because I had a thumbnail for it at first, and I thought it was a little too generic. So I
Okay.
made I made this as a thumbnail instead.
Oh man. Man, that'll make a lot of people happy. That'll make a lot of people happy. Waiting room for popular countries. Oh,
You see how I purposely took the occupancy away from it a little bit? So
yep. So you can see you can see exactly what that says behind there. You can see it for sure. Yeah, I'm with Stanley Francois. That's the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail. There's nothing generic about that thumbnail. I'll tell you that. There's nothing generic about that. Oh my god, I gotta share that video out. Honestly, you said you tweeted it, right?
Yeah, I put it in the chat to our chat. So yeah,
I gotta share it out. Definitely gotta share that out. But yeah, it's a spicy thumbnail. That's a spicy thumbnail. Oh my god. All right. So
put in a little bit of work.
oh, that's gonna have people feeling emotions, having thoughts, all sorts of shit. But up next, we'll get through the rest of these Bethesda, and then like I said, Activision is just Call of Duty. id. I mean, there's already a rumor. We'll see Doom. What's it called? The Dark Ages. Doom: The Dark Ages here at the showcase. I think. I mean, that's probably your expectation for id Software. That's definitely mine. But do you have anything to say about that? Doom: The Dark Ages apparently being shown at this showcase.
Say that one more time.
id Software. I'm assuming your expectation.
Man. So yeah, Doom, that new Doom. I forgot what it's supposed to be called.
The Dark Ages.
Yeah, Dark Ages.
Yeah,
I definitely think like I feel like id Software is going to come out in their bag.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to make sure that you know that they're there and they're putting in some tough work because they've been because if anybody's been quiet since the acquisition of Bethesda, it's been id. They've been
Behind
very
the scenes.
quiet when it comes to the main stage.
Yes, I think this is the year where they aren't quiet anymore. I also think, and Mike doesn't agree with me. I know Mike hopes I'm right, but he doesn't agree with me. I also think this game comes out this year. Doom: The Dark Ages. But we'll see. But yeah, that's my expectation. and it's gonna kick ass. Whatever they show, I'm gonna be hyped as hell for it. Next one is Arcane. Leon is the only one. I gotta be honest, I don't expect to see anything from Blade. What about you?
Nah.
Yeah, 100%. And then Machine Games, Indiana Jones, I think it's fair to say you're expecting to see a bit more info on Indiana Jones, probably even a release date.
100%. 100%. They need to have that release date. Man, this showcase sounds like a goddamn mess.
Oh man. Well, we can't do those. But do you think that we'll see anything about ZeniMax Online? They've been working on a game for a while, apparently, and I don't remember. I think it was like a rumor they started working on a game in like early 2021 or something, or late 2020. Do you think we see anything from the Elder Scrolls Online team?
I hope not.
I hope not.
I hope not. Like I mean, and like although I enjoyed some of the game and I wouldn't mind playing more of it in the future, I don't care about hearing about ESO or Fallout 6, like, or not Fallout 6, 76, Fallout 76.
Mhm.
Like I like what I want to see, and I actually forgot to mention this earlier when you were talking about Bethesda main, because you were talking about Starfield as well. As I expect them to talk and maybe touch upon the Fallout TV show and how it did and how big of a deal it was,
Mhm.
and then introduce like a new idea that they're having with Fallout or something like that.
So earlier in the show, Boogeyman said a remake or remaster of Elder Scrolls or Fallout would be a killer.
I think a remake of Fallout 3 would be wild.
That was my question. Do you think we're getting, because I think yes, but do you think we're going to see a remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it, of Fallout 3 at the showcase? Or any Fallout, just fucking any Fallout.
I mean, I kind of just answered it right there.
Hmm. So you would say yes. You think we'll see that?
I think we'll see. I'm not gonna say a remake, but I am gonna say just like something Fallout. Something Fallout is gonna be at this showcase. They can't ignore it after how great the TV show was and how big the IP is currently looking. You know, look at all the players and stuff that came back to 4 and bought it, and you know, on all the different platforms and stuff like that. Like you had what's now an Xbox game trending, being one of the most paid games on any platform outside of Nintendo. So
yeah, I think the smart thing to do. I would honestly have a whole section of this show dedicated to Fallout, some way, shape, or form. Like you can talk about your 76, you can do all that stuff because you know they're gonna do it, but I would have a whole section of the show dedicated to Fallout. You can talk about 76, but then also say, hey, we're working on a remaster, a remake, whatever you want to call it. But then also, hey, we have this idea for Fallout 5, possibly. Maybe talk a little bit about that. Obviously, you're not going to have anything to show yet, but just they should definitely be talking about Fallout at this showcase, is what I'm getting at for sure. But that is the end of the Bethesda Studios. Up next is Activision, and really Activision is just Call of Duty this year. I don't think because I think we just got the new season of Diablo, so I don't really even expect to see Diablo there. But how excited are you on a scale of 1 to 10 for the Call of Duty Direct? Its own showcase after the showcase.
I'm gonna give it where I stand right now without knowing or seeing what that game is, but having an idea of what it's gonna be. I'm gonna give it an 8 right now.
That's fair.
For the Call of Duty piece specifically, just because I'm a fan of Call of Duty. I'm not a diehard fan of it. I enjoy playing Call of Duty. I don't play Call of Duty every day. I like the Call of Duty campaigns. The last one was abysmal. So I don't want to I don't want to give out, oh, this is going to be a 10 or anything like that, because if I just look a year ago, it was definitely not that.
Yeah.
So without seeing it or knowing what I'm going to see, I'm going to say it's an 8, and I'm giving it that high of a rating just because I'm super excited. Like every time I hear Call of Duty going to Game Pass, it just puts a smile on my face, because and that go with if EA said, you know what, we're putting Madden into our we're putting Madden to be like free to play or some sort of available, which I believe it is actually available in their service day one now. So kudos to them on that, right? But yeah, I'm not paying. I don't like paying $70 for damn near the same game every year, and this just makes me happy. The only one that seems like it's that's left is 2K games to hit subscription services on a regular basis.
Yeah, and hey, lucky for you, but you don't gotta worry about 2K games, because that's my sickness every year.
And now we share. We didn't share before.
That's my dumbass buying those every single year. So you don't gotta worry about that. But yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I would give this probably in the 8 to 9 range. My excitement, just for the Call of Duty Direct, just because, like, the Black Ops series isn't my favorite series, but the campaigns, what I played of them, because I didn't play. I spent a lot of time on multiplayer back in the day. I didn't play campaigns. But what I play of them, really, really good. I know Black Ops 3's campaign was pretty terrible. But I mean, Black Ops 1, 2, Cold War apparently was really well received. I got to play through that as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Black Ops 6. Plus, like Ham said, day one in Game Pass. I don't got to buy Call of Duty again. Thank God for that. Because, I mean, it's always a thing with me every year with Call of Duty. Like, I might not get it when it releases, although the past 2 years I did. But like for Vanguard, I didn't get it when it released. I waited like months and months and months and got that game. But now shit like that, just launching the Game Pass, and I have it because I'm never going to let my Game Pass lapse. So I don't even got to think about it. So I'm excited for that. PS5 blows. What is up? He says Flight Sim is the drop, according to I just made it the fuck up. I mean, hey, who knows? I think we'll see Flight Sim, though. It is called Flight Sim 2024, right?
Absolutely.
I think Flight Sim's
you can't come out with that in 2025.
No, that'd be pretty stupid. I think Flight Sim's a shoe-in. I think we'll see Flight Sim. I'm interested to see Flight Sim just on the basis of like, yo, the first flight, not the first Flight Sim, but the 2020 Flight Sim, the first one of this gen, looked fucking crazy. Are you gonna make it look crazier somehow? Because I don't know how you would even do that, but I'm interested to see what they do for it, honestly, for sure. I'm interested to see the file size too, like 300 gigabytes or some shit. But we'll see. He says, I mean, Shadow Drop. Some people think it's an update, not a full game, aka Dreamcast guy. Dreamcast guy thinks a lot of things, and God bless him. You know, he's doing his thing. He's making his content. He's having a fun time. It seems like, or at least I hope so. Because quite honestly, some of his videos doesn't seem like he's having a fun time. But hope he is. With that being said, though, we've gone about an hour. We've covered everything. The showcase comes up this Sunday. We'll be live streaming it here on this channel.
I bet PS5 Blows really likes my thumbnail.
PS5. Bring that thumbnail up. Hold up. Let me bring that up.
Yeah. I got this right here.
Okay, go for it. Check out this thumbnail Ham made for his new video. In fact, you should go check out this new video. Link in the description to his channel after this show. You can go check that out. Oh my God, I love that thumbnail.
I put a Tupac quote above it too. I said, "Here on Earth, tell me what a black's life worth. A bottle of juice is no excuse. The truth hurts."
Jesus, dude, that's gonna That's gonna have people in their feelings more than likely, and it's gonna be interesting. In fact, I'm gonna go watch that right after this show. But link in the description to his channel, and you see his Twitter handle right there. Link in the description of that as well. Go check out his Twitter, follow him and everything. Check out his channel. Watch the video after this show ends because we're about to get up out of here. But Ham, hit us with the outro. What are you up to, or what are you going to be up to? What are you looking forward to? How you doing? Let them know let them know what you got going on for the end of the week and next week.
Just getting excited and ready for the showcase, making videos that may or may not make you happy. Let's see, hanging out with the in-laws. That's which should be a pretty good time. And playing a lot of video games and stuff like that, man. Not a whole lot. But I'm definitely just kind of sitting on my hands in anticipation for this for this show, because after this show that we just had talking about what's gonna be there, I can tell you proudly right now that I'm sick of doing that. And I'm sure we're gonna do it again on Friday, but I hope it's like a short subject, because it's when you say 2 hours, that's a lot. And like, and then on top of it, they're talking about the hardware being there. We already know Call of Duty that's going into Game Pass is going to be there.
Yeah.
So it's just like a lot of the hot button stuff has been pushed. So it's like, what are we guessing that's in between? And it's a lot. It's a lot. And they talked about 30 games themselves, and I'm just like it's so much. It's so much that it's frustrating trying to guess.
I can see that. And we didn't even I purposely avoided it because we could have went on forever about it. We didn't even hit on the Xbox Global Publishing. Not to mention third party stuff. Like you talking about Contraband. I know they just struck the deal. We probably wouldn't see it, but they just struck a deal with the Arkham devs.
Like that 100-star.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff like Stalker 2. We would assume we'll see something from Stalker 2 in some way, shape, or form. Like there's a bunch of stuff we didn't even mention, and it's like, because if we did, it's like we could have just gone on forever and ever and ever. So I mean, the show's gonna be nuts. I have the expectation. Bottom line, the show's gonna be nuts. I'm excited. I can't wait to check it out. Coming up this Sunday. As for myself, you can find me here on the channel every Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, for the Two Player Podcast with my buddy here, Ham Solo. You can find me Monday nights here on the channel for the L3R3 Podcast at 8 p.m. Eastern with myself, Hard Days Mike. It's me, Tuan. Videos every Monday and Friday here on the channel. And then on Friday, just like every other Friday, I'm over on Ham's channel for almost a Two Play Podcast for Bullsitting with him, Loke, Cozy, Mental 9R, and then myself. We have a fun time over there, so definitely check it out. But that's where you can find me. We're gonna get up out of here. Next time we see you guys, we'll seen everything at the showcase. We'll have a lot to talk about. But we will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Peace. Let me get that out.